excited for this team right here, and that's Kentucky. And y'all know that I had faith in this team this past week, and I caught a lot of slack for taking that 2 and to close the line. For a minute, I felt I got smacked up by Ian with the Toledo talk, but we all cappers, and when you study and you find an edge, you got to stick with that edge. And at the end of the day, everything that I was saying about Kentucky came out right. Like last year, they were more of a defensive team, and this year they're switching over to more of an offensive team. It all lied in the quarterback. The quarterback did a really good job, and they ended up covering in that game. So after watching them in that game, I see them flying by the top of the schedule, which is Toledo, Eastern Michigan. But they'll probably catch the L to Florida, but they'll probably play them tough. Probably be a low-scoring game right there. But then they're back at it. Yeah. Mississippi State, South Carolina, Arkansas, and then they go at Georgia, which they can afford to take that loss at that time. They'll probably have 2 losses. So, this team, I think this is one of the teams that originally, according to Phil Steele, fell in that bottom tier of teams in the SEC, but I think this might be the one that'll jump out.
Really? Okay, so I got a little different view on this team, only because who they lost and the key players that they lost. They lost 2 big-time NFL players in the draft. They lost Josh Allen, who in my book was probably one of the top defensive talented players in college football last year. Everybody had a target on his back to go out and get this kid. And also at the running back position, Benny Snell, who's their all-time leading rusher. He's no longer with the squad. But the other thing, they have, they got a junior quarterback, Terry Wilson. He comes back for him. That's a positive note, and he'll need to step up in that role and look for more balanced attack, on the running back side, with AJ Posse, who's a junior running back. He was averaging a nice look, probably not in a cleanup role, but in a secondary role behind Snell, 6.2 yards a carry. And last year, I think he had he averaged he only had 360 yards, I want to say, but he didn't get a lot of playing time behind Snell, so he's going to have to step up. And then also on the defensive side, they lose like I was telling you, Josh Allen, but they had that bend it, don't break mentality. They gave up yardage, but they only allowed 17 points a game roughly. But a lot of that's got to do with Allen too, but he's gone. So we'll see how they handle that. They got 4 coming back on defense, 4 on offense. So they're going to be real light there, and that's probably why Phil Steele thinks, about what's going to happen with them. So the coaches are going to definitely have their work cut out for them. They do have some nice junior and senior players coming back, but they don't have the starters in place there. So it's just going to probably be a sell team for me, but you might get some value, like you say, if you like them. If they're like a team that you're liking a little bit, you're definitely going to get some value there just based on the hard numbers that they lost and the returning starters that they're not bringing back.
Now, I could be wrong, BigRagoo, but I could be right. But missing Benny Snell and all the people that they lost didn't truly affect the team overall. The defense is still pretty stout. They have a little more give than they had before. Like I said, they're not going to do the 16 points a game like they held teams last year. Right. They're going to give up a little more. But if you watch the game, they totally switched over to a more pass-heavy offense.
Okay,
and it's working for them because the quarterback, he's pretty mobile. He can throw the ball on the run, and they got some decent receivers. That, like I said, the receiving core was the unused bit from last year because they ran the ball so well. They didn't even use that wide receiver core, so none of them went anywhere. They all came back. They gelled up a little more, and they caught some good passes, made some good connections. And another thing that I loved about the team, and I spoke about this before earlier today, is they were met with adversity. Toledo got off to a nice lead on them, and they were able to settle down, do some things right, and come back with a cover. You know what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
was by 12 points. That was
That's
big
good.
time. That was big time work right there. Like I said, we thought, I thought initially too, that this Kentucky team last year was just a Cinderella team, but this might be the beginning stones to a tall wall. And because once the organization gets behind the team and the team starts playing good, they're going to get them what they need. And these teams are excited. They still excited to play. They still got good defense. They went, switching over from a run heavy offense that they had last year is rare. The pass offense that they're running right now is, contemporary according to the market in college football. So I think this team is there to compete. 10-3 last year. They could definitely do that again this year.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they just give up against in the schedule wise against Florida and Georgia, pretty much everybody else on their schedule is absolutely beatable. So they may be looking at a 2-loss season.
Yeah, a lot of the pundits have them, like you said. Steele has them down. Athlon Sports has them down. Those are like your two top publications. But from the outside looking in, like you say, and I'm not questioning the talent level. It's definitely some key marquee players that they did lose in the draft. Those are big losses for them. But like you say, the job of the coaches to come in there and do what they do with the talent they have available, and they do have some guys waiting in the wings, so to speak, with some good experience and maybe not returning starters, but overall coachability and talent-wise, it looks like they did step right up into that role, like you say, with that W that they pulled off, coming from behind, getting the cover done, and it's going to be a value team without question.
Absolutely, and I get that out of my Notre Dame book as well, especially when you have a lot of players going pro like that. Because, for example, Jerry Tillery, he was roommates when they did the big thing on Notre Dame in the beginning season. About who he roommated with, like the guy he roommated with became his mentor, kind of. The guy moved on to the NFL and left it over for Tillery. Now Tillery's in the NFL as well, so we can't knock the fact that if they were able to have players that was good enough to go to the NFL, maybe they left an imprint with the underclassmen and they could carry the torch. So if I had to take a chance with a team on the bottom tier, I don't know. The only reason they're on the bottom tier is because that's what everybody's rating them right now. And
Right.
I follow Phil Steele for a long time. There's stuff that he's really, really good at, and there's stuff that is so-so. And I don't know. I think they might have a bad read on Kentucky. I hope the line setters decided on their side, and I get to cash more money with them.
There you go. Well, hey, you take it for what it's worth, and you do your due diligence, and you're able to take advantage of those spots where they kind of leave it soft for this team and step right up and cash big on them.
Absolutely. So let's move over to this last final team